Bedford and Worcester.
There's a rather big event going on tomorrow. Some people are just rolling their eyes and they're like, what's all the fuss? And other people are dead excited. And there's sort of the grey area in the middle as well. We'll try to reflect all of that this evening on the show. We're going to speak to someone who's actually become our inadvertent royal correspondent. You know Rupert Bell, we normally have him on for the races. Well, apparently he's distantly related to the royal family, I think by marriage, which makes him the authority on this. Anyway, he's headed off from his home in Worcestershire down to Westminster, where he is reporting live for various people, including us. What on earth is going on? What's the weather like? What's the atmosphere like? And how is it all going to unfold tomorrow? As if we didn't know. Anyway, we're going to check in with him in the next 20 minutes or so. Very exciting.
Kate Justice.
Do wonder how Charlie's feeling right now.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love?
It's Hadaway, of course. And that song has actually been sampled and sort of remixed and re-released. And it sounds dead punchy, but I like the original too. We're going to play my favourite current song by Niall Horan in a moment. And we've got a bit of a Taylor Swift classic for you, which I really love on a Friday night. It's the 5th of May. Please don't forget Kitchen Disco. Later on, just after 9 o'clock. I mean, you know, that would be a good way to prepare for your coronation. If you were going to be crowned king tomorrow, I can't think of anything better to do than the night before than just have a little bop around your kitchen to the BBC Hereford and Worcester Kitchen Disco. Can you imagine if that was a thing? I mean, picture it. I will. Anyway, you can join us as well. And we're also going to talk about the coronation of 1953, 70 years previously. And we're going to speak to someone tonight, or hear from someone tonight on the show, who was not only there, but also played an active role in that coronation. Yes, 70 years ago. And this was the Right Reverend John Oliver, the former Bishop of Hereford. So I can imagine it's going to bring like a lot of memories for him tomorrow. Anyway, we're going to hear from him a little bit later. And in the next 10 minutes, we're going to speak to Rupert Bell, who is in Westminster lapping up the atmosphere. He's going to share it with us very shortly.
Rico. Suave, rico, suave.
Seguro que han oído que yo soy educado. Soy un caballerito, un chico bien portado, un joven responsable y siempre bien vestido. Yo no sé quién ha mentido. I don't drink or smoke and into dope with I know coke. You ask me how do I do it, I cope. My only addiction has to do with the female species. I eat them raw like sushi. No me gusta entero. Mi estilo es moderno, si me enterno yo me enfermo. Mi apariencia es dura, vivo en la locura. No me vengan con ternuras. So please don't judge a book by its cover. There's more to being a Latin lover. You gotta know how to deal with a woman that won't let go. The price you pay for being a gigolo.
Rico, suave, rico, suave.
I bet there's not a woman that can handle a man like me. That's why I juggle 2 or 3. I ain't wanna commit, you can omit that bit. You pop the question, that's it. A ver, 1, 2, 3, 4 mujeres. Y la situación ahí no muere, no es un delito. Calmo mi apetito, como un llanto o un grito. So again, don't let my lyrics mislead ya. I don't love you, but I need ya. Would you rather have me lie, take a piece of your pie and say bye, or be honest and rub your thighs?
Rico, suave, rico, suave.
And I'm 2 hours late. I never said I was a prime date, but you kept persisting that I meet your parents. They're gonna love my appearance. Ding dong, el timbre suena. Tu madre abre, que vieja más buena. Le digo hola, pero no me para bola. ¿Qué se ha creído, vieja chola? Go and serve the food, mom, que tengo hambre. If you don't hurry, me va a dar un calambre. Y usted, señor, what's your chin on the floor? Cierra la boca, por favor. What's this, amor? These little huevos. Esto sí que yo no pruebo. I'm used to good old-fashioned home-style Spanish cooking. If I try that, I'll be puking. Well, it's been a pleasure, but we got to go. Regresaremos temprano, 5, 6 o 7 de la mañana. Su hija está en buenas manos.
Rico, suave, rico, suave.
rico, suave, rico, suave, rico, suave, rico, suave, rico, suave.
Kate Justice.
BBC Hereford and Worcester.
I come from Bed-Stuy, when niggas either do or they gon' die. Gotta keep the ratchet close by. Someone murdered, nobody seen, nobody heard it. Just another funeral service, niggas will get at you. Come through shining, they yap you. In broad daylight, kidnap you. Let's get clapped through. Police stay on us like tattoos. Niggas only grind cause we have to. Money is power, sling, crack, weed, and powder. Fiends come through every hour, it's all about that dollar. And we no deal with cowards. Weak lamb get devoured by the lion in the concrete jungle. The strong stand and rumble, the weak fold and crumble. It's the land of trouble. Brooklyn, home of the greatest rappers. Big comes first and the cream comes after. Now put your lighters up. Bed-Stuy, put your lighters up. New York, put your lighters up. DC, keep putting your lighters up. Philadelphia, put your lighters up. Detroit, put your lighters up. Chi-Town, keep putting them lighters up. No matter where you're from, put your lighters up. Let me give you a walkthrough, show you what to do and you don't do. Where it's not safe to go to, the boys approach you. Better say quick who you close to. Don't come through if niggas don't know you. Cause people is talking, the streets is watching. The G's is lurking, stash the 9 in the garbage. The life of a hustler, the life of a gambler. Dice games kill more niggas than cancer. You know who you fuck with. Brooklyn don't run, we run shit. Roll up and just bum rush it. We don't play that. Out in BK, not at all. 4 pound, leave your face on the wall. R.I.P. in memory of. Never show thy enemies love. We get it on where we live. Better have a pass when you cross that bridge. Welcome to Brooklyn. Put your lighters up. LA, put your lighters up. VA, put your lighters up. Texas, keep putting your lighters up. New Orleans, put your lighters up. St. Louis, put your lighters up. ATL, keep putting them lighters up. No matter where you're from, put your lighters up. Damn, homie, I'm so toe. And I don't think I'm ever gonna smoke no more. And I don't think I'm ever gonna drink no more. Well, fuck it, bartender, you can give me one more. We in the club like, damn, homie, I'm so toe. Lights in the Dutch like, I'm never gonna smoke no more. That's in the pub like, I'm never gonna drink no more. Back at the bar like, bartender, you can give me one more. See, Nick done told you, I'm the hottest bitch on the planet. Biggest sex symbol since Janet. There's a no-thief bandit, laying in the cut like a bandage. Come through Fulton Street in the Vanquish, doing the damage. And if you don't understand it, then let me give it to you in Spanish. Sola señorita, más linda del barrio. Si lo es, hago fuera despacio. Still over in Brazil, sipping Moscato. You must have forgot though, so I'ma take you back to the block, yo. Put you on a how we rock, yo. Summer boosting, 12-year-olds prostituting. Hit me hired for execution. There's no solution. Niggas still piss in the hallways. Fiends get high in them all day. The youth them bang at the cops off the roof. You don't know, my town is the truth. Welcome to Brooklyn. Now put your lighters up. New Jersey, put your lighters up. Boston, put your lighters up. Be more, keep putting your lighters up. Miami, put your lighters up. Puerto Rico, put your lighters up. Kingston, Jamaica, keep putting them lighters up. No matter where you're from, put your lighters up. Damn, homie, I'm so toe. And I don't think I'm ever gonna smoke no more. And I don't think I'm ever gonna drink no more. But fuck it, bartender, you can give me one more. We in the club like, damn, homie, I'm so toe. Lights in the Dutch like, I'm never gonna smoke no more. That's in the pub like, I'm never gonna drink no more. Back at the bar like, bartender, you can give me one more. See?
really like that song. It's on my personal playlist. And I haven't heard it here for ages. Taylor Swift, Stop Stepping on My Gown and Adjusting My Crown. There's a good song for the coronation. I wonder how many of those we can pull out tonight. Anyway, Taylor Swift, a classic. We've got the new one from Jonas Brothers on the way. Then a chat with our newly appointed royal correspondent, Rupert Bell, normally in Broadway, at home, currently in Westminster, lapping up the pre-coronation atmosphere.
Coming up on
BBC.
Many have tried to stop the Nazi but the madness continues. I'm too powerful, too unpredictable, and I'm totally too intense. Try to cage the madness if you can. Oh, yeah.
Get your Macho Madness Cage t-shirt for only $20. Just call 1-800-NWO-0242.
No one can stop me.
Late at night when all the world is sleeping, I stay up and think of you. And I wish on a star that somewhere you are thinking of me too. 'Cause I'm dreaming of you tonight till tomorrow. Here
La 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 la. It's Waffle House, and that's basically what they do all the way through the song. Just waffle, don't they? Jonas Brothers. Anyway, it's got a nice little feel to it. We'll play some classic Santana for you very shortly. It's almost 6:20. It's a Friday night, but not just any Friday night. No, history will be made tomorrow, and people are already... Well, I mean, I say already. They've been at it for weeks, haven't they? Preparing their Coronation Street parties. And it's not a Coronation Street party. It's a Coronation Street party. You've got to get the emphasis right. Anyway, people have been planning their extravaganzas for weeks. But where better to be, arguably, than in London town itself, which is where our man on the scene, Rupert Bell, is right now. From Westminster, he joins us live. Rupert, good evening.
Good evening, Kate.
So what are you doing?
Well, I've been here all week in the build-up. It's just being based down at Westminster Abbey. I have a wonderful vantage point looking over the main entrance of the Westminster Abbey, where the King will be the 40th monarch to be crowned in this famous abbey that was first used to crown a king in his country back in 1066. So there's so much history, and you can trace the sort of elements of the coronation service back to the 900s. It really is reflecting of the sort of change in British history over the years. You know, obviously, and everything, the parts of the service, as I say, are historic, and every element has got something. Although this service will be slightly changed, in essence, there's not too much difference than what has happened over previous years.
That's so cool that you've been there for the build-up. And are you sensing the imminence of the occasion now as Friday night sort of starts to kick in? Because I know that the build-up's been huge, but it's really a turning point now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yes. And look, I've been Londoning all week, and it's only really today that yesterday, I think the mood shifted once Prince and Princess of Wales went on that walkabout in Soho yesterday. Suddenly the crowds were enormous for that. And then today, people have been, obviously, the sort of real monarch enthusiasts have been camping out for some nights. And we did have a torrential downpour just around midday today here in London. It's a lovely sunny evening tonight, but it may not be tomorrow. But then when the King and the Prince and Princess of Wales went for an unexpected walkabout this afternoon, and suddenly you got a sense the crowds all around, and I've been around, you suddenly see people wearing the Union Jacks and wanting to be around. And it definitely the mood has shifted, but it's something that we seem to do in this country. I remember being in town for the Platinum Jubilee and thinking, well, who's going to turn up? But it was almost like suddenly last minute you realise, oh, this show's on, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There were huge crowds for the Platinum Jubilee. So I think tomorrow, people are going to have to get here very early because the service starts at 11. And I know that people are travelling through the night to get to London to be there. So I think we might be pleasantly surprised by the number of people who do come out to whatever the vagaries of this British spring and summer is likely to offer us tomorrow afternoon, which could be disappointing because if the weather is bad, we won't get the fly past that will happen post the procession and service when the King comes out onto the balcony with other members of his family and obviously to wave to the crowd, but also to witness the fly past. But if the weather is bad, that element of the day is likely to be cancelled.
Do you know what? I think spring 2023 is going to be remembered for two things: the rubbish weather and the coronation.
I think you're probably right, and the two are going to go hand in hand.
Yes. Well,
sadly,
we're British. If anyone can cope with it, we can.
Yeah, but actually, historically, our coronations are normally conducted in bad weather. The Queen was crowned, as we know, in 1953 on the 2nd of June. But that weather that day for June, the week before, I think they had. I wasn't alive then, Kate.
Only just
only just not alive. Yes, in the 30s. But then on Coronation Day, in June, it was only 11 degrees. Back in 1937, when I definitely wasn't alive, it was a very miserable day as well for George VI's coronation. So it tends to go hand in state glove with it, with coronations. Poor weather. So
Well, now we know who to blame.
Well, not me, but well, I don't
anyway,
know.
it's a lot.
It will be disappointing if it is.
I agree. I mean, you know, a big, massive event with so much outdoor presence as this could be magical. And if it's bad weather, it will be tolerable and just different. But that's fine.
I think it still will be magical because there are going to be about 7,000 troops taking part in it. They've been rehearsing through the nights and at various stages throughout the week, bringing all the participants together. But coming behind that spectacular Golden State coach being pulled by 8 Windsor Greys, walking at 4 miles an hour, travelling from the Abbey via Horse Carts Parade up past the Whitehall, through the Admiralty Arch and down the Mall into Buckingham Palace. It will still look spectacular, and I know people who were lucky. Well, I don't know whether they're lucky enough or made an effort to see them at night the other day under the street lighting and said it looks spectacular. It will still look a wonderful sight, even if it is a bit rain sodden. But you never know. Weather forecasters are able to get it wrong, and for once, let's hope they have got it horribly wrong.
Well, we'll see. We're not too bothered about that. You know, we're prepared. We're British. Yeah. So a hugely, hugely historic moment tomorrow. And, some people are around who were at the last one. And, the history, the feeling is quite immense, isn't it? But ironically, this probably, for a lot of people, a huge percentage of the population, this won't be the only coronation that they get to witness, in theory, when you think about it, logically speaking.
Absolutely. This is 70 years between coronations. And obviously the king is now 74. Look, the family do seem to have a long gene in them. So they do live to good old ages. But, realistically, the king is aware. And actually, just to be on the slightly serious side, he knows he's got to just make sure that following the reign of his mother, that he just keeps the monarchy on an even keel and draws the country in and supporting him. It will be, Britain has changed enormously since 1953 on all levels, and that's why the service has been slightly modified, and there are certain other elements in it to reflect a very different Britain to the one that was in 1953. So that's why I think it will be, it's an important sort of time. And we've had obviously this period since the loss of his mother, and now this is the formalization of that moment when the crown will be placed on his head and he'll have that and be anointed. The religious aspect of the service and the symbolism that go with that. He has been waiting to do this for 70 years, which is a long time to serve your apprenticeship. So for him, and he's an emotional man, it will be a significant moment because he will now know that this is it. And, he will feel that weight of history that in that building, which, as I say, stretches back to William the Conqueror, who was the first of the 39 monarchs to be crowned in that Westminster Abbey. Okay, it was rebuilt in the 13th century by Henry III. But if you think, this is the 40th monarch to be crowned in Westminster Abbey.
It's massive, isn't it?
Well, that just then puts it into context. And a lot of the jewelry and everything that you will see and all the symbolism came about with Charles II. But the elements of the service are still, you can trace it, how it has developed to where it is tomorrow. There is a constant thread running through it. And that's the important thing. And that's what the monarchy is about in this country. It's the continuity of having a monarchy. Yes, the government, they run this country in a sense. The monarchy is there as just a figurehead. But it actually, when you put it into historical context, the monarchy is at the heart of it in some ways. And looking at the number of people who've come into London from not just the rest of the country, but the tourists who flocked in here to see this uniquely British occasion that we, the Brits, seem to do better than most, is a tantamount to the pulling power of the royal family
Yeah.
and the money that it brings into UK PLC. Not everybody agrees with the monarchy, and we get and the King gets that. And there may be the odd little protest tomorrow around the various parts of the routes, but the King's not naive, and he says, well, they have every right in this country to protest, but I can tell you overwhelmingly, the people there tomorrow afternoon or from the early hours tomorrow morning will be wishing the King well and will be remembering it for the rest of their lives, the fact that they were at the coronation. Because I can remember, as a friend of mine who was lucky enough to be seated in one of the stands outside of the grandstand as a 15-year-old boy, and he was sitting outside. His father is a lord of the realm, but he said, I'm not going to go inside the Abbey. Remember, there were 8,000 people inside the Abbey for the 1953 coronation, but he sat with his son outside, and he said to me the other day, he said, I'm sitting 3 seats away from me was Noel Coward, and he never forgot, sitting, the great Noel Coward, and then all and you think the history, but he will never ever forget that day of watching that procession coming through. And remember, that was on such an enormous scale. 45,000 people took part in that procession in the 1953. Obviously, we've now got just over 6,000 taking part this time. So it's a very much scaled down, but it will still look very spectacular for everybody who turns up on site and watching on television or listening on radio.
I will be. I'm going to Badminton, and I'll be watching it on the big screens at the horse trials.
I will be going there on Sunday. I will be hot-footing it to Badminton.
Right.
But actually, it's quite interesting tomorrow. If you're going tomorrow, the dressage
starts in the middle of the night, doesn't it? So they can get it out.
It starts at 8. Well, no, it's 8:15.
Yes.
You get the first dressage test. So it's an early start for you, Kate. But the interesting thing is and like a lot of places, big screens, and Badminton, for example, of course, there will be a lot of people from your neck of the woods heading down to Badminton over the weekend. There are going to be a lot of people watching around a big screen. And it will be interesting because one of the debates has been about the Pledge of Allegiance, which people have been, if they wish, to respond, when the Archbishop of Canterbury at a stage in it, will the people watching at Badminton respond and feel inclusive in the service? So that'll be a very interesting, not just at Badminton, but maybe the length and breadth of the country, people, in watching on big screens wherever they should be. But, lots of sports have had to adapt their programs accordingly. And where you're going tomorrow is just one of them.
Yes,
but actually, at the heart of the day, they want to make sure people, because they know what a significant day, can feel part of this moment in British history.
It's a really good way of doing it, actually, and it feels quite poignant to be going to the Duke's house, which is where Badminton is held. So that's nice.
Well, the Duke didn't get the invite, so he's not going. He's one of the Dukes that didn't get the call up. But I don't suppose he'll mind because, of course, he's going to be welcoming, in excess of 200,000 people on his grounds over not only today, but the next 3 days. So
he's got something else to do.
Yeah, he's got something else to do, but it also reflects the King wants a different type of coronation with more people from different walks of life being able to attend instead of all the Dukes, because that part of the service alone, when all the various Dukes pledged their allegiance to the King, in that case it was to the Queen, it took an hour just on that bit alone. So it's only 2 hours tomorrow, the service, and the King has 4 changes of clothes, sits on 3 different sets of seats, and so hopefully he remembers where he's supposed to be at each given stage during the coronation.
I'm glad I'm not in charge. Rupert, enjoy it, won't you? I know you've got a great vantage point, so make the most of it and take lots of pictures.
I definitely am, because I don't know how many I'll see of these going forward, but I'm so privileged to be in such a good spot just outside the Abbey.
Rupert, thank you very much indeed. I'll let you go and have a rest now because I know it's been a busy week and it's an early start tomorrow. Have fun, if that's the right thing to say. But in God's grace and all of that, blessed you.
I will definitely enjoy it, and I know, and I'm looking forward to seeing that procession because I think it's going to be spectacular.
It will be a spectacle. Thank you so much indeed. That is Rupert Bell, who is like dramatically transformed into our royal correspondent this evening. Well, you know, he's there doing it. He's in Westminster. He's been there for a few days now, all week, checking out the atmosphere, seeing it change and it mould and unfold as it gets closer and closer and closer. And that's what we do, isn't it? The British, we arrive and we get there in time and we just support and absorb. Anyway, whatever your politics are, it does sound like it's going to be a bit of a show. That is Smooth. We know the song, don't we? The latest offering from Meghan Trainor on the way, a bit of a classic from Lenny Kravitz as well. And we'll have a little bit of a politics chat. There's so much going on at the moment. The coronation, the bank holiday, big sporting events across the weekend, and the small matter of local elections that went on yesterday. Did you go out to vote? Did you brave the weather? Anyway, there was a bit of a change this year. We had to take our photo ID. But the results are in and they're causing a bit of ruckus. We're going to reflect a little bit what happened very shortly. And then after 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to go back 70 years to the last coronation. I know. Can't wait. First, though, let's have a look at the weather. What have we got in store over our bank holiday weekend? I don't think it's going to be that good. I'm just sort of hoping that the forecast isn't completely accurate, but I also slightly hope it is because it's me reading it out. Tonight, it will become gradually overcast. There's an area of heavy rain slowly moving in from the south by the second part of the night. Overnight temperatures between 7 and 10 Celsius. Tomorrow morning, it'll continue to be overcast with rain, and this will fall heavy in places. We will have sunny breaks developing in the afternoon, but the chance of lingering showers still possible, and it'll be breezy tomorrow with highs of 15 Celsius. Sunday, we're going to see variable cloud cover and sunny spells, and then it'll be a dry and mild day. Later in the day and overnight, a band of heavy rain will move in from the west. Monday will see the rain taper to a mix of sunny spells and frequent showers, and then Tuesday's going to start off dry and sunny, but some areas of cloud and a few showers will develop in the afternoon. Sunny spells will still be expected though, so don't lose all hope.
The sound of Herefordshire and Worcestershire.
Together, we can make a difference. BBC.
Hereford and Worcester.
Oh, Donna, oh, Donna, oh, Donna, oh, Donna. I had a girl, Donna was her name. Said she left me, I'd never been the same. 'Cause I love my girl, Donna, where can you be? Where can you be? Now that you're gone, I'm left all alone, all by myself to wander and roam. 'Cause I love my girl, Donna, where can you be? Where can you be? Well, darling, now that you're gone, I don't know what I'll do. I've had all my love for you. I had a girl, Donna was her name. Said she left me, I'd never been the same. 'Cause I love my girl, Donna, where can you be? Where can you be? Oh, Donna, oh, Donna, oh, Donna, oh, Donna.
BBC Hereford and Worcester.